It's so funny that, we opted to flip-flop episodes. We were going to return to the Sean Baker arc this week by reviewing the film Starlet, and we were going to have Inky on Tangerine. That's right, we already did Starlet. We were going to do Tangerine, and then we flip-flopped it due to some illnesses and some scheduling hoopla that's been going on. So now we are flipping it and doing a different film tonight. But it's so funny because I was going to start this whole thing off by saying, like, well, Merry Christmas. But yeah, so we're in the Christmas season. Hey everybody, welcome to the Screen Sermon Podcast. It's the Boon, and I'm here once again with Iguana Lover 23. Rather Josh, aka Iguana Lover 23.
Fucking call myself what I am. My name. That's
right. So I went back and gave you Josh first.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Hashtag go watch Leo. So yeah, like Tangerine is so funny because it happens to take place on Christmas Eve, and so we included it in our little month of Christmas films here, and as a way to continue the Sean Baker arc. But it was just, obviously the guts of that movie has nothing to do with Christmas. It just so happens to take place on Christmas Eve. But we'll get to that next week because we decided to flip-flop it. And this week we are talking about a Christmas film, that being Violent Night, the 2022 action comedy starring David Harbour. And up until watching the film for this show, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it all this past year while it was on Peacock. Didn't really pique my interest when I saw the trailer and stuff for it last year, but we decided to throw it in to our Christmas season list. There's only a handful, but we decided to throw it into the Christmas season episodes here. Yeah, it's a good time. This movie's a good time. I had fun with it. Josh, thanks of course for being here with me, and thanks for kind of pointing it out and bringing this flick up, because as we were talking about earlier on, this was one of your favorite movies from last year, right?
Yeah, it was. It cracked out of around 150 films. I think it cracked 12 or something. I could take 2 seconds to fucking look that up. But,
yeah, fucking look at it. Why not?
Yeah, we got all day. I mean, we don't, but...
Full disclosure, I mean, just everybody on the planet Earth that is at all affiliated with me, with Josh, with everyone. Everyone's sick. Everyone's ill. People are getting COVID. People are getting the flu. People are getting bronchitis. People are in the hospital, medicated. Everybody's fucked up. And, yeah, we're all feeling it this flu season. So, like I said, things had to get kind of bobbled around. We were going to continue Sean Baker this week with Tangerine. We've watched that film, and we're ready to go with an episode. And it was my fault. I'm the one that asked for an additional day just because of the fatigue that I've been feeling. And unfortunately, that led to a scheduling conflict. And so now we're here doing Violent Night instead, and we'll get back to Sean Baker next week.
Yeah, I looked it up. I have, out of 146 films, I had Violent Night as number 9, which, looking at my my list, which I do the cutoff at the end of January, with January being my catch-up month, I said 12, but I would bump it down to 12, because there's two things directly behind it that if I were to redo the list, which I won't, but if I were to redo it, I would move 2 things up more. Pinocchio and Prey.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I still, it's funny, we talked about this, Cody and I talked about this last year when the show started. Hello, Hero. When we did the Oscar review show way back in episode 1, we talked about the Pinocchio film from Guillermo del Toro, and I still have yet to watch that, and it's on Netflix. I hope it's still on Netflix. Is it still there? Do we know?
It was a for Netflix show, so I want to say yes, but then so was Hush
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right.
So I think so. I would say there's an 80% chance it's there because I don't think the license for Netflix would expire within a year. It came out in November of last year.
Right.
I will say Del Toro is one of my favorite directors of all time. Maybe my favorite director of all time. I don't know. I haven't thought about it that much, but I'm a big Del Toro fan. I'm also a fan of stop motion. And I love what he did with the Pinocchio property. He's also handling Frankenstein, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be cool. So I need to watch Pinocchio. I haven't done it, but I can say that in my opinion, having seen both Prey and Violent Night, I would put Prey above this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think Prey being I don't want to go messing around with things after the fact, but like retroactively, there's part of me that wants to move Prey up to like number 3.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we were chatting about this when I watched Prey, and we were kind of chatting in our separate podcast chat, and I'm just like throwing comments in there and stuff like that. We were talking about how Prey is certainly the best Predator film since the original, and potentially might be the best Predator film. If you can kind of take the nostalgia glasses off and just look at them both as films, they were very close.
Yeah, I gave them both the same score with the 10 out of 10. So I fucking love Prey.
Yeah, it's so good.
Anyway,
but I was about to say, but we're here to talk about Violent Night. So Violent Night is a cool little movie that came out. It's starring David Harbour, who, of course, most of us, I think, and out there know as Jim Hopper from Stranger Things, beloved character from that series. He also played Hellboy in the most recent Hellboy film that I didn't see, but I heard sucked. I'm not sure how that went down. I remember Mila Jovovich was in it, and I thought that was going to be a good pairing, but I recall that a lot of the reviews about it were pretty poor. Outside of that, I don't really know much about it. I think he was in the Gran Turismo film that just came out, or was going to come out. So yeah, he's getting out there. David Harbour's getting quite a bit of work, and is a recognizable face. And so he gets to play the role of Santa Claus in this film. Just to give you a brief synopsis of the plot, a band of criminals and mercenaries takes a wealthy family hostage in their compound, and in the interest of stealing $300 million that they have on the property, and it happens to be the house that Santa Claus is currently delivering presents to. And so those two forces end up colliding as Santa tries to save these people and kind of save the spirit of Christmas for one little girl and things like that. So yeah, it's a good time. There's some shit about this movie that I really, really like. And there's some other shit about this movie that I could really do without, and I think is what ultimately would have drug it down to a kind of, like I said, it was a fun movie. I had a good time with it, but overall, I think it's a pretty forgettable experience. Like in a year or two, I probably won't even think about it that much, and it'll get brought up, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I did see that movie. This strikes me as it's going to kind of sit in my Rolodex of films in my brain as one of those.
I gave this a 9 out of 10 after seeing it because I fucking loved it so much. It missed the perfect score because while David Harbour's character is great, and I like Leah Brady as Trudy, and I liked all the Grinch Squad people, and I like John Leguizamo especially. The main family sucks.
Oh my god, they're so bad.
Like, especially fucking Bertrude.
That was fucking great though. I had a good laugh about there was several points in this movie, and that's one of them that absolutely cracked me up. And So the matriarch of the family, the grandmother, her name is Gertrude. And I guess one of the secondary characters, but the main couple that you're focused on is Jason and Linda and their daughter Trudy, who of course her name is Gertrude. She was named after the grandmother. And Jason is very much painted to be this kind of kiss-ass son who's just trying to placate his mother so that he can kind of be the next in line to take over the family business. There's definitely kind of a subplot there that the siblings are matched up against each other. And then you find out that his sister, whose name escapes me at this moment, Ayla? Something like that.
They don't matter.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Her son's name is Bertrude, which I thought was fucking great. And of course they just call him Bert, but just the fact that she of course, Bert is older than Trudy, so she got to the whole having a grandchild for the matriarch for Gertrude. She had the grandchild first, but she had a boy, so of course that fucked her out of the naming rights. But she went ahead and did Bertrude anyway, which is outstanding. But yeah, I think I have a similar... So I have similar notes in that regard to you, but for my money, that kind of, not ruined, but just kind of brought the experience down for me. And so, like, you're spending time with this family. And I mean, I don't like Linda. I don't like Jason. I don't like any of them. I don't like any of the family members outside of Trudy. Trudy was adorable. And you really kind of felt that innocence and that, you know, belief in the Christmas spirit and belief in Santa, and like the way that her and David Harbour played off of each other when they're talking on walkie-talkie and stuff like that worked for me 100%. But all the rest of those family members just sucked. I mean, I thought the performances were piss poor. And really the casting. I mean, Alex Hassel, who played Jason, I've seen him only in one other thing. I saw him in The Boys, where he plays Translucent. It's a great, really fucked up superhero show. Unfortunately, you see his dick in that show, so like that definitely put a weird spin on. Yeah, it put a weird spin on seeing him in a Christmas film. Yeah. So like I had just, you know, and I had just restarted that series, so I had just seen him as Translucent, and now all of a sudden I'm supposed to kind of be cheering for him and you know, believing that he's this, you know, kind of beta boy dad who's trying to strike out from under his mother's shadow and all this stuff. But he has the most unlikable fucking face. He looks like a villain to me, which is why his role in The Boys makes sense, because he's a dickhead as Translucent. So, i.e. why you see his penis. But anyway, so, but yeah, just fucking terrible casting. I didn't like any of them. I didn't think any of them did a good job in their roles, and you spend a lot of time with them, so it's just like these grating portions of the film where you're just like, Jesus, can we get back to David Harbour? Like, the more screen time he could get, the better, because he kills it. I mean, everything about David Harbour's portrayal of Santa Claus was badass. I mean, even down to like the red jacket and stuff. It's a fucking leather jacket. Like, you can just tell by the way the light plays off of it and stuff that it's not like a big fluffy coat. It's a leather coat. You know, he's obviously the kind of surly Santa, upset with the greed of the world and how kids suck, and you know, all they want is cash. And you know, under the tree, people have the Amazon boxes instead of even bothering to wrap anything. It's just Christmas is becoming this meaningless thing. But one of my favorite things is that they kind of delved into his backstory, but without giving you tons of information. But I love that the concept that Santa Claus is this title, like it's a seat of office that is given to a particular person, and he happened to be this Nordic Viking warrior, you know, 1,000 years ago or something like that, when we're seeing these flashbacks of him in the midst of a battlefield covered in blood and shit with a helmet on. And somewhere along the line, he became Santa Claus, and they don't even bother telling you why, because it doesn't matter. But I just love that backstory. It explains all of the tattoos that he has when you see him shirtless at one point. It explains his, he's a savage warrior when he gets into these skirmishes with the mercenary guys and stuff like that. It kind of explains all of this stuff. So yeah, I thought it was a really cool spin on Santa Claus, and evidently it is based in some truth, because a lot of the story of Santa Claus has been kind of homogenized over the years, but the original, I think some of the more original stories, like he was more often than not kind of linked up with like pirates and thieves and stuff like that. So yeah, I really thought it was cool.
Yeah, another reason I really dug this is because of how much other Christmas shit I could see in it. I mean, I think the major one is Home Alone with the
definitely, yeah,
shit and whatnot.
That was a cool part.
But there's also shades of like Bad Santa and him being an alcoholic Santa. And having not seen the film, it's hard to say this, but maybe even Die Hard, given its action-oriented stuff. I will watch Die Hard this month, not for the pod, sorry, but I will finally see it.
Yeah. It's great. You'll love it.
So yeah, it had a lot of that. It referenced like the Grinch and all that shit, just with the fuck are they called? The Grinch Squad is what they call the gang, which had my favorite one of them was Krampus, which is played by
yes, yes, me too. Brendan Fletcher.
Yeah, Brendan Fletcher, who I remember best from Freddy vs. Jason.
That's exactly what I was like. Holy shit! It's fucking Mark from Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah,
I said the same thing.
He plays the fucking the psycho of the group,
and he's so good at it.
Yeah, I mean, fucking, they're talking about, I want to touch his dick. I want to touch his dick. And he's like, I'll do it.
He's like, I'll touch it.
That's another thing. I think this is a very, it's a action comedy. So every 3 minutes, it's got a good line in there. It's very quippy, very quotable.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit in there that just kind of like got little pops out of me here and there. Like I said, there's the Bertrude thing's fucking great. Pretty much all of Krampus. Anytime Krampus is on screen, Brendan Fletcher kills it and does or says something or has like a mannerism or something that made me laugh. Because that was funny as shit. Like they break Jason's finger with a nutcracker, and then John Leguizamo. First of all, they already make a comment about how many fucking nutcrackers Gertrude has because she has a ton. And then he swings around and grabs one of the really, really big ones that's offset from the fireplace, and he's like, okay. He's like, these things aren't called finger crackers. And you're just like, oh shit.
Cool.
But yeah, it has a lot of those little comments and little moments that are really funny.
Oh, dude, I feel like it's like every 3 minutes there's a really good one that hits me, and it just keeps me laughing throughout the whole movie. Especially because I wanted just a little anecdote. This was my pick for. I don't remember if it came out. I think this was my pick for December 2022 for the theaters. And I went into this because it was on my horror list, because I include horror adjacent stuff there.
Sure.
But this was prior to Screen Sermon, where I kept an eye on trailers and everything. So I went in completely blind. All I knew is there was a killer Santa. I was expecting something more akin to Silent Night, Deadly Night, or Santa's Sleigh. Did not get that. Was very pleasantly surprised that it was what it is. And super fucking funny.
It's hilarious.
I mean, the only complaint I really have is what I mentioned with some of the minor characters just being dull wads. But they're fine for a quip or two at their expense and everything. I mean, this movie is the David Harbour and John Leguizamo show. So, any scene that has one of them in it, they can carry that whole thing. I love those two separately, but also together in this movie. They have good chemistry with each other.
Yeah, they do. And I gotta say also, and I mean, back to the quips. Like, I think one of the first things I put in the chat earlier was looking at the scroll that tells you naughty or nice and like the reasons why, part of the Santa magic. When he opens it up for Trudy, it says that she's on the nice list, and one of the items that's listed under her name is invited weird kids to the party. That's fucking hilarious. I love that.
David Harbour and Leah Brady, the actress who played Trudy, had some really good moments too. Especially like when they first interact, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna shove it up there," and then he pauses.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, "Up their ass," and he's like, "Come on, you can't say that. You don't want to be on the number." And she's like, "Butthole." He's like, "Well, that's borderline. You know, you can't."
That's borderline.
Anus.
That's a great line.
Like, well, yeah, that's the medically correct term, but you know.
Yeah, it was. They had some great interactions and very wholesome shit. And the first thing that came to mind, which is funny because during this season, during the holidays and stuff, my wife and I we go through the whole Harry Potter film franchise. It's just what we do every December because those movies remind me of Christmas. And it's so funny because David Harbour and what's her name, Leah Brady?
Yeah, the actress who played Trudy.
Yeah. Their interactions and stuff remind me of like Hagrid and Harry's interactions. And yeah, it's just very wholesome stuff. Like you said, the Home Alone stuff was great because and they set that up earlier in the film where when Jason and Linda first kind of connect because they're separated. And she talks about how Trudy got to stay up late and watch Home Alone, and she's like quoting it and shit like that. And then later on in the film, she ends up taking part in, you know, kind of laying waste to a couple of the bad guys because she set up a bunch of identical Home Alone traps. And it's hysterical because they're like mocking her for it. Like, the point of a booby trap is to hide it and all this other stuff, but she's already laid another one in addition to that one. And so, of course, the crooks end up not only falling into one, but multiple of them. And this film, and I remember reading a note about it too, part of the reason why they threw that in there was watching Home Alone as an adult, you get to that point where you're like, well, that would kill somebody. And so they decided to do that in this movie where they were like, let's see what the Home Alone traps should actually look like, what they would actually do to people. And of course, it's fucking horrific. Like, it's just awful to see.
Yeah, that's something that we're starting to see more and more of, the adult takes on Home Alone. Better Watch Out's another really good one.
Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't watched that one.
Oh, I recommend it. Better Watch Out is a very good movie. It is an outright horror take on Home Alone, though. Okay.
So I wanted to address one thing right off the top. Not off the top, I guess, but just
been 20 minutes.
I wasn't 100% sure that David Harbour was Santa Claus coming into this. Like, I thought it was possible that he was just like a mall Santa or some shit that was a, ex-Marine or something like that, and ended up wrapped up in some kind of situation where he has to defend.
You mean like before watching it?
Yeah.
They set it up like the first 5 minutes that he's the real Santa.
Right, yeah. Like, as soon as I started the movie, I was just like, oh shit, he's like fucking really Santa Claus. I just thought he was a guy that has the job of being Santa Claus, not necessarily that he is Santa Claus flying around a reindeer and stuff. And so I think that is to this movie's benefit big time. Because this would have been some kind of diehard clone, basically, if he was just like a mall Santa that got caught in a tough situation and had to rely on his military training to get out. Like, that's such a less fun movie. But yeah, the fact that he's actually Santa Claus and has the magic scroll that tells you naughty and nice, the sack full of presents that's endless, you just keep reaching in and pulling stuff out. And of course, the fucking big setup, the old touching the side of the nose in order to fly up the chimney. which of course leads to one of the most creative deaths in a movie I've ever fucking seen.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
It was so cool.
That took me aback when I was in the theaters, and I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a bit like that. Like compared to everything else in the film, that's like overkill.
When they set it up real nice too, because at one point in the film, John Leguizamo's character, Scrooge, as he calls himself, and who was it? Gingerbread, I think, was the other guy. They have Santa Claus tied up in a room, and they're basically trying to grill him for information, like, who are you? Who do you work for? Blah, 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 blah. Thinking that he's some kind of hired, paramilitary guy that Gertrude's, family employs or something to get them out of trouble. And so they're interrogating him and stuff, and going through the sack of presents and, looking at all the shit. And at one point you get this little whimsical moment where Trudy is pouring styrofoam balls into the vents so it looks like it's snowing in the room. And as Santa is trying to convince these people that he is in fact Santa Claus, then this moment happens where it starts snowing in there, and the bad guys are starting to buy it, except for Scrooge. John Leguizamo's character isn't convinced. And Santa finally gets the thing where he touches the side of his nose and flies up the chimney because it's not working, which I looked into a little bit more, and it's whenever there's a lack of belief, like be it the people around him don't believe or he is starting to doubt himself, his Santa powers don't work as well. And that's why as the film progresses he becomes a more competent fighter. When you first kind of have him in a violent situation, like he gets the shit kicked out of him by the first henchman that he's fighting against, and it's just because he's not in that badass Viking version of Santa anymore. He's just been Santa Claus for so long. As the movie goes on, he's starting to believe more and more in himself, and he gets a hammer back, which is a big comfort for him, and that's when he becomes a more competent fighter. Anyway, long way around. They set the whole shit with the chimney up earlier because he does finally get his flying up the chimney magic to work. And when somebody suggests that that's what happened because he manages to escape the room, Gingerbread looks up the chimney and goes, nobody could fit up there. And just sets up the fact that, no man could go up this chimney. And of course, that's what happens to John Leguizamo at the end of the film.
Mangled him, too.
Yeah, rips his arms and his whole lower half off and part of his head. It was disgusting. But, two things that I wanted to point out, because I would be remiss if we didn't mention them. The music. I thought the music was killer. All of the great, whimsical holiday, all of that great holiday music that you want to hear in a Christmas movie is all there. And when you juxtapose that against the violent, brawling that takes place in this film and the mangling of people and getting stabbed in the eye with the Christmas topper star and all this other stuff, it makes for a pretty hilarious combo. And then the other piece that I wanted to point out, Hero's back. I just lost my train of thought. So we had the music piece. And then some of the there's a lot of gore in this film. There's a lot of blood, and a lot of it is CGI. It's a lot of that action movie CGI blood, and it looks pretty bad sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could. I've seen worse. So
I have seen worse. I'll give you that.
I can give it a pass for that, especially because while you pointed out the music, and I don't have. God damn! I just had something up. I wanted to point out that the fight scenes and all that choreography. What the fuck's it called? I don't know. All the stunts and fights are very well done.
Yes.
I had the name of the fucking coordinators for those things up, but they disappeared, so I gotta pull them back.
The stunt coordinator?
Yeah, because all that. I think the fights are every single one of them that happens in the whole film. I think all of those sequences are great, One of the things I love about these type of films is when they take the items that pertain to the holidays, like Christmas trees, candy canes, and all that shit, and they use it in the fights. And we see him like just as one of the many examples. You see him sucking on a candy cane for a while, and he pulls it out, and it's a fucking shank, and he fucking rips it in somebody's throat.
I also love the putting the figure skates on his hands like they're gloves.
Yeah, it's
fucking great.
There's so much of that in this, and I absolutely love it. Also, every time the sack comes into play, when the first time I think it comes up in a fight, he's looking for a weapon, and he's fucking like video game. Why don't these kids ask for a fucking bat anymore? And he pulls out
a sword. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He said, "Why doesn't anybody ask for a bat or a sword anymore?" Like, who fucking asked for a sword?
He ends up pulling something out. I think it was a golf club.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that thing was, because it didn't have the head of a golf club on it. It was just like a stick.
Was it a fencing sword, maybe?
Maybe. I have no idea.
Was it just a stick?
It looked like a stick. I have no idea.
For a dog.
Yeah. It was like a yardstick length, but cylindrical stick, and yeah, who knows what the hell it was.
Cade, fuck, I'm gonna butcher some names real quick. Can Aiden was one of the fight coordinators. Jonathan Eusebio is a stunt coordinator. There's two more. Dan Skeen was a stunt coordinator, and then one of the other fight coordinators was Charlie Yoon. So,
okay.
The credits where that's due. One of my favorite parts of the films were all these fight sequences.
Yeah. I love how, like, meat and potatoes they were. Like, it wasn't like watching a dance.
Yeah. I mean,
like it was rough.
Out of each other.
Yeah. Like, it was knockdown, drag out, like Donnybrook style fighting. Not like highly choreographed. Like, I mean, it was highly choreographed, but it didn't look like a highly choreographed, like martial arts and things like that. Like, it's,
two people beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, just pounding on each other.
Fucking wrestling match is what it was.
Yeah. And I was looking into Tommy Wirkola. Might be butchering his name. He's a Norwegian film director and writer. He directed this, and just taking a look at his filmography, because I wasn't totally familiar with the name, and he did the Dead Snow flicks, which I remember watching the first one and being entertained, and then he also did that Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters film that came out in the early 10s, and I never saw it. I just remember that trailer. And then motherfucker has a movie coming out next year called Spermageddon. And it's just like, alright. So, like, this isn't exactly helmed by a tour de force guy. Honestly, I mean, without having seen that other stuff outside of Dead Snow...
Well, we're watching Spermageddon for the pod, don't you fucking...
Oh, yeah. You gotta watch fucking Spermageddon. On, like, National Safe Sex Day or something. But, yeah, it's like... this is clearly his best film. In my just in glancing at his filmography, I've only seen one other movie that he's done. This is his best movie. Another thing worth bringing up is the budget stuff. This was made for $20 million, which kind of surprises me that it's that low, and it made over 75, so it was 76.6 million gross, so that's worldwide, domestic, everything. I mean, this made its money back and then some, which is great. So it was a successful venture that they did.
Yeah, it was only projected to make, I think, it was projected to gross $10 million, and it made well over that. Its opening weekend, the only thing in front of it was the fucking second Black Panther movie, which, naturally was going to be number one for that weekend.
Sure.
So I would say It did well. I mean, it did well enough that they greenlit a sequel already, which will be coming out.
Yeah,
whenever. And
I saw that.
Super excited for that. It's either gonna be great just like this one, or it's gonna be absolute dog shit. Because I read that they wanted to put they wanted to incorporate Mrs. Claus into the mix, and they were eyeing Charlize Theron for that.
Yes.
And also the elves, which that's what I'm looking forward to. I want to see how the fuck. I'm hoping that they're not just little people. I'm hoping that we get some like gremlins looking motherfuckers.
That'd be cool.
Like actual creatures, preferably puppets.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I know there's a Gremlins knockoff called Elves, but I still haven't fucking seen that. Or
I
anything
didn't even know about it.
Yeah, all I know is that the poster for Elves is the same poster for the new batch, just with an elf there. Oh. And I'll fucking post that to you in our chat after.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been looking for a reason to find that, but I'm holding off because Gremlins, I will say up front, is my favorite Christmas movie, and I don't want to sully that, if that makes any sense.
No, I get it. I was going to mention the sequel as well, just because I remember once the credits started rolling, and I started doing a little bit of research about it, I was like, why? As this is such a perfectly self-contained little thing, why mess with that? I mean, the answer obviously is because this one made a lot of money and was successful, so they want to try to do that again. But so at first I was kind of against it, and then I read the whole piece about digging more into the Mrs. Claus thing, the Charlize Theron rumor. It's not confirmed at all that she's been cast as Mrs. Claus
for the role.
Right.
Who's going to be cast?
Right. So I mean, that means they haven't even offered it to her. It's just that was the thought process, and I think that would be awesome. And then the elves thing, honestly, I didn't even think about puppets, but that'd be fucking great.
Yeah, I figure they do, instead of doing your regular, fucking rosy-cheeked, childlike elves, you make them this fucking, because mythology-wise, there's some interpretation of elves are, like in D&D, you got these gangly, almost troll-esque motherfuckers, but little tiny guys.
Definitely.
So I'd be down with that. Put a bigger budget behind it. Hire some fucking creature effects guys, some creature shop. Some Henson type shit going on. I mean, hell, you can have. They can just look like the little fuckers from Labyrinth that I can't remember the name of.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. That'd be so cool. That's such a great idea. And I mean, dig in. Yes, I was about to say, fucking get Josh in there, man. But really dig into that mythology piece more, since you've already done it with Santa. Kind of continue to dig into that mythology piece, because it offers such a more interesting spin. I mean, I'm harping on this way more than I should be. But the elves, you could do this bit where they're not fucking native to the North Pole. Elves aren't supposed to be at the North Pole. So you sort of somehow that is the new batch, isn't it?
Domesticate them in a way. You essentially pull the fucking Willy Wonka Oompa Loompa situation.
Yeah. Or like Minions.
You pull a Willy Wonka Oompa Loompa situation.
Because they basically duplicated that in those Illumination films. But yeah. So yeah, those two things, and I think the concept of taking the sequel to the North Pole and maybe having, I don't know what the fuck would even happen.
The conflict.
I mean, who would attack the workshop?
Yeah, that's something I've been wondering. What are the odds that some shit like this is going to happen twice? And if I was writing it, well, it depends on what actors I can get back. And honestly, Leguizamo's done because he's fucking dead. But if you can get Leah Brady back, I would love to see Leah Brady back.
Sure.
You could do a situation where they had their thing, so they keep in touch, and some shit goes down, and she's back in the mix.
them being her and Santa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about her parents.
I don't give a fuck about them characters.
Leah Brady is the only... Leah Brady, David Harbour are the only people that should come back.
Yeah. And I have no... Like, so if we're booking the sequel right now, like, or we're trying to, I can't even come up with a good reason for her to be there or what she would be doing there, because she would still presumably be a child. She'd be like a tween at that point. And I have no good reason why she would be there. Like, what would be the point? And honestly, the only conflict I can think of, which kind of fucks your puppet idea, which I really like, so I'm hoping I'm wrong, is that the elves basically plan like an uprising.
I mean,
that's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, they could both happen, but it might get a little muddy script wise.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not gonna have David Harbour fighting puppets.
Yes, I don't know. I don't fucking know. I mean, this is gonna be the first film. Let's say the first one straight up was a fucking weird movie.
Mm-hmm.
Second one is gonna be that, but like times 10 on the what the fuck factor, because while I'm hyped for the sequel and seeing what they do with it, it didn't need one.
No,
this was perfectly fine standalone. But that being said, I'm down with new movies becoming franchises instead of having the same ones go on their fucking 12th movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my stance on franchises is I support it if the scripts are done for the sake of telling a story and not giving me another movie.
Yeah.
Like, make sure the fucking movies are good. I want quality over quantity.
Sure. I think they missed an opportunity as well by having Brendan Fletcher's character be called Krampus, because maybe you would have had the evil Santa infiltrate the North Pole to try to take over the workshop or something. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I've been trying to think of like fucking like traditional Christmas villains, because we already got fucking Scrooge and we already got fucking Krampus. And they're called the Grinch Squad, so that's like the first three that I would think of.
That's the big three right there, yeah. That's the unholy trinity of Christmas bad guys.
The fucking Hans Gruber is going to be the fucking...
But yeah, like, what the fuck? What is he going to do? Like, him and... Because you know Charlize Theron's... If she were to get cast, of course. Now we're booking it like she's in there. But assuming she takes on the role, you know she's going to kick a bunch of ass too.
Yeah, I would. So you'd have to have a big bad that was bigger than the fucking gang.
So is there some kind of Santa? I mean, in the lore, I mean, there's tons of fucking lore because it comes from everywhere. Huh?
Maybe it's Bumble.
Who the hell's Bumble?
The fucking abominable snowman from Rudolph.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, like every culture that has a Santa Claus mythos, like they all have lore that they could tap into. And I guess specifically we should be looking at like the Norse versions, considering where this character's background is from. Like in Norse Santa Claus-like mythology, was there an evil version or a bad guy or some kind of villains that tried to stop Santa Claus from doing, or Saint Nicholas or whoever the fuck he was? Yeah.
Fuck, maybe. I really hope they don't do it, but maybe they do a whole Santa Claus 2 situation where they have like this, not necessarily like a fucking Robo Santa, but they have some type of automation, right?
It's like Futurama.
Some type of fucking automation. Like, we're gonna have this shit happen, and then maybe it's like a bunch of fucking robotic nutcrackers or some shit. I don't know. Or maybe they pull a Santa Claus 3 and have it be Jack Frost. Oh wait, they could have Jack Frost be the fucking
Jack Frost. Okay.
We're getting somewhere.
We're starting to piece this together.
This went from coming soon to fantasy booking Violent Night 2.
Well, I mean, it just kind of like, I think one of the big things to talk about from this movie, because I mean, we kind of touched on a lot of the fun shit, but a lot of the talking point that kind of comes out of it is they wanted to do another one. And so it's just like, well, what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing, is that when you're doing a sequel for a movie that they didn't, it was an airtight script.
And they wrapped it up.
And
no pun intended.
Yeah. Nice. It came to a logical...
Put a bow on that bitch.
A logical conclusion. Then they want to do a sequel, which is why I really hope... Although I'm still go out and fucking watch it. I really hope they don't do a sequel to Barbie, because...
Yeah.
I won't spoil it for you, but the movie was written to be a one and done. It didn't really leave room for a sequel. I mean, I could fucking fantasy book that too, but even Greta Gerwig said, this is it. I probably won't be a sequel because I fucking wrote a movie, not a franchise.
Right.
Although, I think that's gonna be in the fucking Mattel Cinematic Universe or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
With Daniel Kaluuya's Barney, which, just saying that fucking that's my
it's
number one
wild.
For that month, I think. Give me that fucking...
So
Jordan.
I googled villains for Santa Claus, which is something I never thought I'd do. Here's what we have. According to Google, here's your screen sermon top 11 Santa Claus villains, as brought to you by Google.
Mojo now.
Yeah. Number 11, Killer. Not sure what from. Number 10. Yeah, just Killer. That's all it says. Number 10, Scott Farkas from A Christmas Story. That ain't gonna be it. Number 9, Toy Santa. Not sure why that's a villain. These are not ranked in any way. Number 8, Jack Frost. To your point. Number 7 might be inciting a riot here, but Old Man Potter. I don't know who that is.
That's from It's a Wonderful Life.
See, I haven't seen that movie since I was little, so I don't know. Number 6, Krampus.
These aren't Santa villains. They're just fucking Christmas movie villains.
They're Christmas villains, yeah. But when you put in Santa Claus villains, this is what comes up. And then your top 5, very quickly. The Grinch, Scrooge, Oogie Boogie, Hans Gruber, and Burgermeister Meisterburger.
Oogie Boogie is not fucking gonna happen because it's a Disney property, and
yeah,
that ain't, I mean, if they make it work, I'd be fucking down for it, though.
I kind of like the idea of Burgermeister Meisterburger being involved. Also, I mean, really, just because I like saying Burgermeister Meisterburger.
Just because of the name.
But I think Jack Frost is where you've really kind of hit on what you could be looking at. That could happen. The other thing I could see would be like the new Santa, which you're kind of touching on with like the automated thing.
It's Alexa.
Oh yeah, there you go. It's fucking AI.
I mean,
but I was thinking like, it is very topical. Yeah, because then you could turn the whole thing into a social commentary. They love doing that with their films. They meaning everyone.
I mean, it is to a degree. I mean, Santa being upset and everything is sort of a critique of capitalism and how
it's a good point.
Christmas has gotten over commercialized.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Do it. We gotta do Violent Night 2. It's Santa versus like the death of Christmas, maybe spurned on by some Jack Frost or something like that, or make it like a corporate villain like Burgermeister Meisterburger. And then the elves are fucking puppets for sure, and the whole thing is directed. No, wait. And Charlize Theron is Mrs. Claus because I like that casting. Whole thing directed by Paul Verhoeven. He makes those political commentary flicks all the time. Starship Troopers, RoboCop. It would Total Recall.
So he directed a bunch of shit I haven't seen.
Oh, so good. I'm fucking in.
Tommy Wiseau is directing the sequel.
I haven't seen that listed anywhere.
That's what it's. He's listed as the director as of now. I mean, that could
really
change. I mean, The Long Walk just got its fucking 4th director, I think, a couple weeks ago.
The hell's The Long Walk?
Stephen King book.
Oh.
With the 100 boys walking at 4 miles an hour until fucking all but one die.
I have not read it or heard of it.
Oh yeah, I'm sort of pissed because it's like fucking it's one of his Bachman books. That might be why. But
okay.
Yeah, it's 100 boys are walking from fucking the main Canada border, just in a straight line up until there's one left, and they can't stop or go below 4 miles an hour, or they get shot.
This is fucking speed. The bus explodes.
Or they get shot if they stop walking. So
that makes more sense.
I forget who. I know fucking George Romero was set to direct. Dropped out. Then somebody else that I don't remember. And then
wait, George, as in George A. Romero?
Yeah.
I thought he died.
This has been in development hell for a while, dude.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Andre Averdal was set to direct up until a couple weeks ago. He did The Last Voyage of Demeter, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, Troll Hunters. And now we have...
fucking Troll Hunters rules. I love that movie.
Now we have fucking a guy I don't remember the name of, but it's the dude who did all the Hunger Games sequels, which is fitting for the type of film that this is. You know,
I don't know who the fuck did this movie.
I don't remember, but fine. It's a fitting, you know, he's did the Death Game thing, so similar subject matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't fucking know what to get back to Violent. I have no idea.
Yeah.
While I think the Jack Frost thing is the best idea we've come up with for as far as villains go,
I agree.
I have a feeling that they're gonna not do that much, because like they already have Santa, now they're gonna have Mrs. Claus and the elves.
Right.
If they do Jack Frost, that's 4 different supernatural characters, and we're sort of getting away from the bare bones of what made the first one great.
It's true.
You had Santa at like half power fighting a bunch of people. Because, you know, if he started off what he was at the end, we wouldn't have a lot of the fun moments of that it led up to that.
Yeah.
So I'm hesitant to think that I don't think that they're gonna do the villain also being supernatural. So
maybe it is gonna be Burgermeister Burger.
Have a fucking corporate Amazon or some shit be the fucking villain.
There you go. Yeah, he's the head of some kind of like big distribution thing. Yeah, there you go.
Beth Jesus, because they can't call him that.
Yeah, they make it a woman. That makes perfect sense. Beth Jesus.
Beth Jesus.
Yes.
Sounds close to Jesus. It's a Christmas.
It is very close to Jesus.
Maybe it's Jesus because he's pissed because the fucking Santa took his day.
It's not about his birthday anymore. It's a good idea. That'll never get greenlit.
Yeah, we're hyping this up way more than fucking is gonna happen.
I think the Jack Frost thing is a hot take. I also think just keeping it corporate greed and stuff like that makes a lot of sense. And then maybe
it'll be Bertrude.
Fucking Bertrude, yeah. We saw. I mean, in the mid-credit scene, you see he's still kicking. Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me. Yeah. I think Paul Verhoeven is out though, man. He's 85 years old.
I mean, Scorsese's still making fucking movies, so. I
know, but yeah.
I don't know. Fucking say when he was gonna stop? Was because Killers of the Flower Moon wasn't his last one.
I haven't heard anything about him retiring.
Getting off fucking subject. We've been all over the fucking place. We said it up front. Violent Night, unlike some of the other movies we review on the pod, there's not a lot of analysis to be done. There's not a lot of deep themes. It's one of those movies where you watch and you just have a fun time.
Yeah. And I think it kind of affords itself this kind of loose conversation about, you know, plot points in the movie, or we can bring up some quotes and talk about this and talk about that. But then, of course, we're kind of dovetailing off and talking about like, oh, that director, he also did this. And then we end up talking about that for a minute.
He did, he did Dead Snow, so maybe we'll have Nazis invading the North Pole.
Fucking A, why not? Oh my god, do a mashup of the two franchises.
Violent Night and Dead Snow?
Yeah, have a bunch of fucking Nazi zombies crawling out of the snow trying to attack the workshop, and Santa's got to protect the elves, otherwise the toys won't get made.
Realistically, it's probably going to be somebody else getting the title of Santa Claus or something like that. Or like you said, it'll go... I think that they did say that they want to go explore Santa Claus's backstory more.
That'd be cool.
Maybe it'll be fucking Viking. It'll be the Northman, but the North Poleman.
The North Poleman.
Please fucking call the sequel that. And you have
that'd be fucking badass though. Like another. Yeah, that'd be cool. And he's got a bitchin' axe instead of a hammer. I'm calling that now.
You know what? Here's a new prediction. We do the Krampus thing, but it's an actual Krampus. But it's somebody from his past that got the title of Krampus while he got the title of Santa Claus.
I love that. Let's do that.
So you have Viking fucking Santa and you have Viking Krampus, and he doesn't need to be like purely demonic and everything, but he's got some fucking abilities too.
Sure. And then they can just have a big meaty men slapping meat, as Biggie would say. I'm into that. Let's do that.
He's here to take over the fucking workshop and fucking finally get one up on fuck's his name, Nikomun the Red or some shit.
Yeah. Because he says a bunch of... I love that he did that. He said a bunch of his kind of his monikers across different cultures and stuff when they were asking him who he was.
Yeah.
People call me a lot of things.
So that might be the most likely thing is you have this fucking other Viking, or they could use another culture even, because I think that this Santa's supposed to be an amalgamation of all the different places Santa Claus is across Europe. So you have, because I saw Nordic tattoos, but also Celtic tattoos.
I saw a lot of Celtic stuff on them. Yeah. Like the knotwork and stuff like that? Yeah,
so you have... And those are two different parts of... I mean, they're close by, but they're significantly enough far apart culture-wise that I think he's like an amalgamation of that.
Yeah, because they have whole other mythologies from one another and stuff.
Yeah, his helmet looks sort of Germanic, too, and that's... As far as I'm aware, that's the Santa Claus that we got. A bastardization of it, essentially.
Yeah.
Of Sinterklaas or whatever the fuck. So yeah, maybe they have like, I'm the fucking... This is what happened to you after 1,001 years ago, I think he said. And this is what happened to me, and then we get an all-out Santa fight, as fucking James from Dead Meat would say.
Amazing. I'm into it, man, and I think that, I mean, if you're comfortable with it, I feel like we're wrapping this up pretty well, but I want to end on this. And you can, of course, take a minute. I don't need you to just spurt something out immediately. But you got to cast your Viking Krampus right now. Who are you putting in that role?
Oh, fuck. I'm trying to fucking rack my brain for someone similar in stature, both physically and star power-wise. Because you gotta fucking, like, you're bringing in the big bad, and you just had John Leguizamo.
Yeah.
So who the fuck, you know? I have the best fucking idea. Oh no, I can't. He's dead. God damn.
Who was it?
I was gonna say fucking since you had fucking John Leguizamo be the big bad in the first Violent Night, I was gonna say get Bob Hoskins to be the fucking second.
That'd be amazing.
That way you get Mario and Luigi.
I love that. I had two thoughts, and I think one of them just doesn't fucking work. One of them is Joe Manganiello. Just to give you that physical presence, because I mean the dude's is a specimen. But I don't know that he's got that air about him.
And Joe Manganiello. That
Yeah.
fucking... The fuck do I recognize him from? I recognize his name. I'm just trying to think of what I know him from.
I feel like he's more known for his D&D than anything.
I mean, as an adult, I know him as fucking... Before anything else, I know him as Flash Thompson.
Yeah, he was Flash Thompson in the 2002 Spider-Man. He was Deathstroke in the what the fuck was he in, Suicide Squad or Batman vs Superman or something like that. He was like a mid-credits reveal that he was going to be Deathstroke, and then of course that didn't go anywhere. He's he played a werewolf in True Blood, like the main werewolf guy. What the fuck else is he in? He's one of those dudes where like I of course know him, but I couldn't tell you what the hell he's done. Now I gotta look him up. He's in Magic Mike. You wouldn't know that.
I did know that, actually.
Never mind. He's in he was in Rampage. Yeah, what the fuck would you know? Spider-Man, of course, we know that. Yeah, I mean that's kind of it.
Who the hell is another? Because I'm trying to think of somebody who's as big a star as David Harbour. Is the problem?
As big a star as David Harbour now?
Yes, because Stranger Things is fucking made it essentially gave him a fucking second wind of his career.
Actually, I didn't even know he had a first wind.
He was an actor before Stranger Things. You know what?
I mean, I believe he was, but I just didn't.
For the fuck of it, because he's in goddamn near everything, especially nearing the end of his film career. Let's just fucking say Nick Cage.
I kind of hate that. It was funny though, because when you said he's in everything, I immediately thought Willem Dafoe. And when it was Willem Dafoe, I was into it, except for the fact that he's just the age just does not work out well.
End of his film career?
No, I don't. I mean, I think Willem Dafoe will work till he's dead.
Cage said he's got, I think, fucking a few more movies before he goes straight to TV, because he said he wants to be a TV actor now. Yeah. He went on record saying that he's done pretty much everything there is to do film-wise, and he wants to be strictly TV going forward.
I mean, that's fucking true. He's done it all.
No.
Yeah, I mean, David Harbour's film career started in '99 on Law and Order.
Everybody that comes to mind immediately is already fucking dead, because, I mean...
You know who honestly comes to mind for me is Mickey Rourke.
Robbie Coltrane.
He's also dead.
I know, I said everyone fucking I think of is already dead.
But yeah, Mickey Rourke was one of the first things that, he I don't know why.
I'd be down with that. Fucking Mickey Rourke.
I was just thinking about like their age and kind of their, I don't even know if that's correct though. David Harbour's 48. Mickey Rourke's definitely older.
You know what? They don't have to be. If they don't have to be fucking big size wise, I could see Bill Skarsgård.
Holy fuck! Mickey Rourke is 71.
I thought you said
Bill Skarsgård is a good shout, actually. What'd you say?
I thought you were saying "holy shit" to my Bill Skarsgård. I was like, thanks. I remembered that fucking one of his millions of brothers was the fucking lead in the Northman, so I was like, oh.
Yeah, Alexander, and he was awesome.
I can't fucking pick any of these crackers out of a Ritz box, honestly. I just know one of them played fucking Pennywise.
I know Alexander because of fucking True Blood. I was really into that show for a while.
I remember them based on what they were in. So Alexander did the Northman, Bill did fucking It. And there are fucking more of them.
There are more. That's true.
Like more Skarsgårds. There's a bunch of them.
There's Stellan Skarsgård. There's Peter. There's Jorge. Just kidding. That doesn't exist.
Skarsgårds and Hemsworths, man.
I'm out on this whole concept of Mickey Rourke. I don't think that works. I think I'm gonna go to the listeners here. I want to hear. This is something I want people to fucking listen to this episode. I want to hear people's opinions. I want emails. I want comments. Who the fuck should play Viking Krampus to play opposite David Harbour's Viking Santa Claus in a presumed Violent Night sequel that Josh and I just made up? I mean, the sequel exists, but we just made up the plot. Fucking A. There you go.
Or Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern.
Yes.
Awesome.
Just for the fuck of it. Either one, because I was like, maybe they do another fucking Home Alone callback and they bring somebody from Home Alone and make them in, or maybe it's fucking Joe Pesci. And honestly, if they went the corporate route and had it like a businessman and not a straight up warrior, then I could see Joe Pesci actually doing it. Especially
he could be Burgermeister Burger.
Yeah, a character like that I could see.
I'm going to suggest another thing that you look to the world of pro wrestling to find your violent Krampus or your Viking Krampus.
I know what you're going to say, I think.
Do you?
I hope so. Is it an actor that's also a wrestler?
I don't know if he's done anything.
We're not thinking the same thing. Go ahead.
I was going to say like Drew McIntyre.
I don't know about his acting ability, but physically?
Yeah,
I can see that. I thought you were going to say Batista.
Oh, fuck. That's a good... Yeah,
Batista would be fucking... I think that's the best thing that we've come up with legitimately.
Damn. Like, he's literally a fucking actor. Why didn't I think of that?
Not The Rock, hopefully. Not The Rock.
Damn it. Yeah, not The Rock. That's too on the nose. Fucking Batista. Yes.
Yeah. I think we've set up expectations that are too high for the movie to deliver.
That is a fucking great idea. Batista with an awesome fucking battle axe against David Harbour with the hammer.
David Harbour gets his big fucking hammer, and then Batista has a giant axe.
Yes.
With fucking deer antlers on the fucking end of it.
And I want Jack Black as like Krampus's little like herald.
Why?
Like his toady.
Why?
Because it would be awesome.
I don't think you're gonna throw Jack Black into fucking Violent Night too.
Yeah, man, it'll be great.
What if fucking Santa has elves? What does Krampus get?
They're still elves, but they're different versions of them. They're brownies.
What?
Brownie elves? I don't know. It's another version of elves in history. You could just do like a whole different version of elves.
I thought you would have just fucking said trolls.
Trolls? That makes sense. Sure. Fuck it.
Your pool was a lot more fucking obscure than I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were gonna go trolls.
The fucking Cleveland Browns are literally named after them.
What?
Or maybe the team isn't named after them. They might actually be named after Paul Brown.
But, is that why they had that fucking logo back in the whenever the fuck?
Yes, that is their like throwback Cleveland Browns logo is a brownie elf.
That's so fucking stupid, and I'm annoyed that I'm just learning that, because I remember seeing that logo and going, why the fuck is it this?
Yes.
But like fucking as far as old NFL goes, it was that always confused me, and why the fuck the Buccaneers had creamsicle colors for a while.
Yeah, I think that was just literally a what color haven't we used yet in this league? And they were like, let's do bright ass orange. So yeah.
I think we're beginning to wrap it up with the fucking NFL talk.
Yeah, I think we've done it. I think we've finished.
We're not. There's going to be no more after Batista.
God damn it! I'm going to be paying attention to when the sequel comes out. I want to see what we get right and what we don't get right. We have to remember to revisit this.
Yeah, that's something I love to do with the coming soon episodes. Is whenever we do those, I watch the parts when we cover certain trailers before I watch the movies,
and
then there's half the time we get things right on the money, and then half the time we're way off of what actually happens.
Yeah.
It's just fun to see.
Well, and this will be one of those. I'm very curious to see how well we book this shit. I mean, I know we threw about 1 million ideas out there, but I think the Batista one is our solid, like, this is what we want to see.
Batista meets Violent Night meets Gremlins.
Yeah.
Fucking book it.
I'm fucking in. I want puppets. I want Charlize Theron. I want Batista as Krampus. Fuck yeah. I want him with a battle axe. I want Jack Black as his herald. I'll let that go, though. If that doesn't happen, it's fine. If we get the other stuff, it'd be amazing. All right. I think we did it. Unless you have anything else, I think we're clear to call it an episode this week.
We got a fun movie. We talked about it for a while. We talked about other shit for a while. We got a nice crisp hour and some change. Off the cuff episode because we were supposed to fucking review something else.
That's one thing you can say about the Screen Sermon podcast. We're fucking crisp. That is the way I'd put it. Well, folks, thanks as always for joining us for a chat about Violent Night and the presumed Violent Night sequel. Very much appreciate you all coming out and listening, liking and subscribing, commenting on the videos, or sending us a message on X or Facebook or an email at screensermonpod@gmail.com. Again, that's screensermonpod@gmail.com. We want your feedback. We want to know what you're into and what you would like to see us cover. And yeah, definitely give us your casting ideas. Love talking about that shit. Many an hour spent at an IHOP trying to fantasy book, future Batman films and stuff, and who would be this person and that person. And so
fucking fun afternoon.
Oh yeah. So I'm all about hearing what people want to see in terms of upcoming films or sequels or reboots or whatever. What do you got? And please, Screen Sermon is now delving into the world of gaming. Specifically, we're doing Let's Play videos now, and we're calling it Screen Sermon Plays. And I just put up the first upload the same day that we're recording this episode. And so we've started our Super Mario RPG, the original for the SNES. We've started our Let's Play journey for that one. Please like and subscribe, and please comment on those videos and interact with us. I'm trying to get the viewers out there to kind of inform my decisions within the game when you're allocating stat bonuses and things like that. I'm basically having people tell me, this is what you should boost up, So trying to get people involved, trying to get people interested. Let me know what kind of retro games you would like to see played in future Screen Sermon Plays series, and look out for the next videos and check them out.
Yep.
And as always, Josh, aka Iguana Lover 23, hashtag Go Watch Leo. I really appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, I just got to say the whole thing. It's like, it's your full title, but I appreciate you. Getting yourself up here and able to record an episode, because I know you're going through a bunch of illness and shit like that too. As I also am continuing to recover from things. So thanks a bunch.
Yep, it was a fun time. I fucking love fantasy booking random bullshit.
Oh yeah, super fun. I think we really needed this conversation today. I know it definitely did me some good to laugh about this stuff for a little while. So hope that we could provide some laughs for other people too. But all right, folks, we're going to call it a week. We will be back with the Sean Baker arc and Tangerine, his 2015 film that takes place on Christmas Eve. So we'll be staying in that Christmas spirit all through the rest of the month of December. So thanks a bunch for hanging with us this week, and we'll talk to you all next week. See you later.